Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amina and I'd absolutely love it if you could subscribe to my channel to see more from me. I love talking about education. I love helping you guys improve on your essay writing, help you guys find PhDs, help you guys find jobs, and also to help you improve life in general. So let's get straight into this video because it's probably going to be a bit of a long one. I'm starting a new series called Find a PhD, and it's exactly what it says in its name. I'm going to help you find PhDs and also sometimes masters, but mostly PhDs. I'm also doing another edition of it called Find a Job. So both of them I'll be running. I'm not sure how often. I might do it once every 2 weeks, or I might do it only once a month. It really depends on how much you guys love it, the feedback I get from it, and also what kind of jobs I find and what kind of PhDs that I find. To summarize what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be finding PhDs for you and going to be identifying the best positions that I can find from the STEM field. So that is science, technology, engineering, and maths. So anything related to those 4 subjects, those 4 topics, I will be touching upon. I'll be talking about 10 positions in each video, and I'll give you a brief 1 or 2 minute discussion about each topic, so it might be a little bit of a long video, so bear with me. And I'll leave the links to all the jobs down below. In today's video, I'm going to be using findaphd.com because that's how I found my PhD, so I thought it was only fitting to show you guys how I found my PhD and how you can find others. So all of the PhDs I'm going to be talking about today have deadlines mostly in January and February. Some of them are open until they fill it up. So this is very relevant for now, and every video that I do for Find a PhD or for Find a Job will always be relevant to now, and the deadlines will be within the next kind of month or 2. You can straight away go to that job, go to that PhD, apply for it there and then. If you do need help with applications, I am your woman. My email address is down below in the description. All you need to do, send me an email, let me know what it is that you want. You want an hour of consultancy where I'll help you apply for the job, help you write a good statement. Do you want to just talk about it? Whatever you need, do let me know in the email down below and we can get whatever you need started. Before I get started, I just wanted to say don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up for all the videos that I've done so far. So the first PhD I want to talk about is this one by the BHF, the British Heart Foundation. Now I applied to them and they rejected me, but it's okay, it's okay. I know why I got rejected. My statement was rubbish. I think that was my first application that I applied for, so it's absolute rubbish. The BHF hosts a great PhD program. It's a 4-year PhD program, which means it includes 1 year of a master's where you can rotate between 3 or 4 different labs. And then in your second year, you're able to select one of those labs and then go on to your PhD where you will be in that lab permanently for the 3 years. So it's a very nice way of kind of testing out 3 labs and then selecting the lab that you are interested in for the duration of your PhD. I also find that they pay much more than your average PhD. So if we look at the funding, years 1 and 2 is £19,000 a year, no tax. Year 3 is 21, and then year 4 is £23,000 a year without tax. Now that is a lot, because that I would say is about £30,000 before tax, so that is a pretty good pay. What I look for when I look for PhDs is the eligibility. So this one is open to UK students, EU students, and also international students, which is amazing. And this is for those that are expecting to obtain an upper second class degree. So that's 2-1, which is 60% and above. And I usually get so many emails from you asking me how to get funding if you're an international student. So here you go, this is a position that you can apply to if you are international. This PhD is one type of PhD where it's a program that you're applying to. They will probably have 10 positions that are for the whole kind of biological sciences department. So you're applying to a very competitive scheme actually, whereas with my PhD was a particular lab, which I'll come on to talk about in the other programs, where you apply to one lab and it's less competitive, I find, than these schemes that have like thousands of applicants that apply to them. The deadline for this is the 2nd of January, so if you are interested, get applying. The second position is this EPSRC position, and this is funded by a research council. Now in the UK and also in the EU, there are a number of research councils which fund PhDs within Europe. So this second PhD, the reason why I pointed it out was because this is a PhD that is in combination with 2 top universities, Cambridge and UCL. So I pointed this one out because I feel like people think that a PhD is just from one university and your education is just from one university, but there are universities where two labs will collaborate because one lab is great at the biological science stuff, the other lab is great at the physical science stuff, and so you'll do a year there, you'll do a year and a half there, and they collaborate, which is amazing. I think this is such a great way of doing a PhD. It kind of helps you change it up a little bit as well, because I find that 4 years in one place does get very boring. So doing a year and a half somewhere, a year and a half somewhere else is great. So it's also another 1+3 PhD, which means 1 year masters, 3 years PhD. And I think 1+3 PhDs are great because you don't pay for your masters. I paid for my masters myself because I didn't get a 1+3, I just got a 3-year PhD. The third PhD that I thought was quite relevant is this PhD, the A-star PhD, which is actually a joint PhD again with King's College London and the university in Singapore. Now my friend did this and she loved the experience. So her first, I believe it was 2 years, was in Singapore at a university there, and then she did her last year and a half in London at King's College. Now this is a great opportunity. So again, you can see the deadline is January the 3rd. So the ones that I'm mentioning, as I said, are in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks time. There's a catalogue of different projects that you can work on. So again, it says you'll spend up to 2 years maximum in Singapore, and then these are the projects you can work on. So physical sciences, imaging, so that could be cancer, could be neuroscience, and then you've got psychiatry and mental health, cells. So my one was like the top one, cell developmental biology. I really didn't know about the combination PhDs between Singapore and London. I think if I had known, I might have applied for that, because that's 2 years working in a university in Singapore, which means you can travel around the area. My friend travels so much, I was so jealous. I think it's a great opportunity. The fourth opportunity that I wanted to bring to you is another joint one. It's 3.5 years, which means 3 years of research and then 0.5 to half a year, 6 months of writing your thesis. Seen some PhDs that are only 3 years, which means that's 3 years of PhD research and then half a year that you need to spend writing but you don't get paid for, so that's a bit tricky. So I would definitely make sure that I go for a 3.5 PhD or a 4-year PhD. And the applications are accepted all year round, so that means that they have positions that they haven't filled yet, so whenever you're ready to apply for it, go for it. I've given you the names of the supervisors, so you can go and do a quick research search. You can go and do a quick search on PubMed to find out who they are, what they work on. So London, 1.5 years, 1.5 years in London, and then 2 years in Singapore. So it's another A-star program. Again, if we take a look at the candidate, it says that the candidate needs to have at least a 2:1 honours or equivalent in an undergrad degree in chemistry, biochem, immunology or material sciences. It says nothing about needing a master's. I get this question all the time. Do I need a master's to do a PhD? The answer is no. You do not need a master's to do a PhD, although it is highly desirable. So again, if you continue to read, it says that previous research experience is highly desirable but not necessary, as training will be provided. Regardless of whether you do a master's or not, you will not learn the exact technique you'll be doing in your PhD. So to be honest, it just shows that you've worked in that type of environment, so it does look quite good, but it's not necessary, because either way, they are expected to train you and they will be training you. The only thing is, if you come and you've got a 2:1, another candidate comes and they have a 2:1, but the other candidate has done a year, done their master's, they will most likely get picked. So you're kind of running a risk, but if you think that you've done some experience in your holidays, or you've done an internship during your PhD, or you've done something else where you think you've got enough experience and you can justify that, then you don't need a master's. Make sure that you read this in detail and give them all the information, because any missing information means that your application will go straight to the bin, because they get so many applications, they don't have time to contact you and find out your information. It'll just go straight into the bin. Okay, so the next PhD that I wanted to bring to you was this one. It's a model of cell cycle control in cancer, and I thought this was quite similar to what I was doing in the lab, which is why I thought I would bring it to you. Deadline's on the 31st of January, so you've got about a month and a bit for that one. And it's at Imperial College London in the Department of Maths. Imperial have a great maths department. It's one of the best in the world. So if you are interested in maths, I think this would be a great opportunity for you. An amazing campus, by the way, that's where I was at. It is a cross-disciplinary project, so you're looking at the medical aspect of cancer, but then the mathematical aspect. So you might be someone who's done some sort of image analysis, coding, modelling, computational biology, but it also says that applications from theorists who want to try their hand on wet lab experiments are also welcome. So if you're someone who's a mathematician and you've never stepped into a lab, but you have an interest and you want to try it out, there you go. That's the thing, with PhDs, your opportunities are endless. You can really do whatever it is that you want and your heart desires. The next PhD I wanted to mention is this one. Yes, it's based in Durham University, which is kind of north of the UK, but you will have some time in Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. Sao Paulo. It's a worldwide PhD, which means that anyone can apply, international, UK, EU. That's something that's very important to look out for, especially if you are an international student. This PhD is actually quite an interesting topic, which is another thing that I get asked a lot, like what can I do a PhD on? You can do a PhD on anything. So this is looking at a white ginger invasive plant, which has a potential to transform ecological communities in this water catchment area. Don't know, it seems like, but yes, it says that you'll gain skills in DNA extraction, PCR, processing and analysis of data. Now, those 3 methods are all things that I did during my PhD in cancer research. So that's one thing that you need to be really careful with. When applying for a PhD, you need to not look at the title, but more at the skills and the methods that you'll be using. So I could easily go into this PhD and know what to do straight away because I've done this method already. Although the topic might not look like it's relevant to me, I learned very quickly that it's more important to look at the skills that you're doing and the methods that you'll be learning than the topic name. It says that the candidate will also gain experience in setting up field experiments in Brazil, stats and also camera tapping methods. This PhD looks like so much fun. When's the deadline? The deadline for this is January the 11th, so you have some time. Get on it, guys, get on it. This looks like good. This looks like a really good PhD, and Durham is up there with Cambridge and Oxford in terms of like reputation and things like that. So please apply to this one and let me know if you get in. Alright, so the next PhD I wanted to highlight to you is this one from the University of Cambridge, the Department of Biochemistry, because it's basically what I was doing and I think it's quite a good one. Again, applications are accepted all year round and it's also a worldwide one, so anyone can apply to this one. Okay, so the next PhD I wanted to highlight was a bit of a different one and it made me laugh when I read it. If I had a second life, I would do this PhD. It is predicting tuber dry matter concentration in potato, and this is at the University of Cambridge, the Department of Plant Sciences, and the deadline for this is in March, so you have some time for this one, and it's only for UK students, so sorry anyone else. But essentially, what you're going to be looking at, understanding how chips or French fries, how you can make them more crispy. I mean, if that doesn't entice you to do a PhD, I don't know what will. So it says that there is considerable variation in the concentration of tuber dry matter at harvest between potato varieties, seasons and sites of production, but there is limited understanding of the mechanisms for this variation. This job actually is quite interesting because they've told you where you can progress with it. It says that by understanding practical issues related to science, this is highly valued by industry, meaning that you've got good vocational opportunities. So you might be able to work within the food industry, helping them optimize their tastes of different foods. The next PhD I picked out is this one, the PhD studentship in tribology, which is the study of friction and lubricants and wear and tear, things like that. And it's at Imperial College London, so a great university. I would never pick universities that I don't think are amazing. And it's at the Department of Medical Engineering, so like I said, engineers out there, or even if you're kind of on the biological science but more of the engineering side of things, this would be a great university. Open to UK or EU, and applications are accepted all year round, so get on it. The reason why I picked this one out is because it's in collaboration with Shell. Shell is a huge gas company and you'll be working in close collaboration with them. Now, I discovered this type of PhD only last year when my friend got into a PhD at Cambridge, and her PhD is in collaboration with Shell. Kind of made me think a little bit because I thought to myself, I never considered PhDs that were in collaboration with a particular industry. And I think a good thing about that is that when you have graduated, you can almost guarantee that you'd be working with that company. So this PhD says that you'll be working in close collaboration with Shell, and you'll be expected to visit and communicate with various Shell centres around the world. It doesn't say how much you'll get paid, but I'm guessing it'll be quite good. It's fully sponsored by Shell, so not only are you working closely with them, but they're paying you. So can you imagine how good that is in terms of when you graduate, the fact that you'll have a job with them straight away? I can almost guarantee that you will. The last PhD I wanted to show you is similar to the one previously where you are working in close collaboration with a company, and this one is with GSK. Most of you will know GlaxoSmithKline. It is behind almost all of our medication. It's a huge pharmaceutical company, and you'll be working with them on this PhD. So this is a PhD in cell and molecular biosciences, looking at drug discovery through this method, this mass spectrometry method. It's at Newcastle University at the Institute of Cell and Molecular Biosciences. Newcastle's a great university, not so great of an area, but it's a good university. Deadline is in about a month, so you've got some time to apply for that. UK and EU students only. So again, it's a 4-year PhD, which is great, fully funded on a collaborative project with GSK. So it tells you all that you'll be doing, what you'll be doing with them, who's sponsoring them, who's your supervisor. It says that, again, look at their criteria. It says that you will be expected to have achieved, or expect to achieve, a 2-1, at least a 2-1. So again, to do a PhD, you do have to achieve at least a 2-1. It leads you on really nicely for after you graduated. You might be thinking 3 years, 4 years is a very long time, but trust me, it goes so quickly. And knowing that you've kind of set yourself up where you're already working with industry, you already have a partner. It's something that I definitely regret. I definitely just went straight into it just thinking like any PhD is fine. When I graduated, I could apply to these industry partners, but that means that I'm applying from scratch. Whereas if you have a PhD and you're already working with GSK, you're already working with Shell for the past 3 years, there is absolutely no reason why they wouldn't give you a job afterwards and you wouldn't be able to excel in that career. I had to do my master's, did my PhD, my undergrad. It was all very academic, so going into the corporate world is more of a struggle for me because it's a big change as opposed to someone who's already done that during their PhD. So if you do get the opportunity to do something like this where you can work with industry, with corporate clients, I think is a great way to be able to diversify your skill set. I really hope this helped. I'm waiting for the feedback for this. I can't wait to post this video and see what you guys think about it. Hopefully I've shown you something within science, within technology, within engineering and within maths. And I've picked out things that are a bit different, some collaborative PhDs, some PhDs that are 3 years, some 4 years, some international, some with masters, some without masters. So yeah, I've given you a whole range. So I am hoping to do this, I don't know, you guys let me know what you want. Do you want me to do this video once every 2 weeks? I feel like once every 2 weeks is a bit too much. I don't think there'll be anything new in 2 weeks, but every month I think I might do this video. So once every month, do a find a PhD video. On the flip side, I also want to do a find a job video because my husband and I always come across so many amazing jobs that we don't want to apply for because we're not really looking for jobs, but we do think they are great opportunities. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on my socials, which I'll put up here. Don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this video. And if you know anyone who's searching for a PhD, trying to look for one, please send them this video. I really want to spread my channel a bit more and really get it out there to the right people. For anyone that's thinking about it in the next year or two, then send them this video and let them know that they should be looking from now. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!